Discovery in the dark. The last thing Raven Thorn expected to find in the obsidian expanse was hope. The vast graveyard of derelict ships had been her hunting ground for the past decade, each salvage mission bringing just enough credits to keep her small ship, the Whisper, running for another month. But today, something was different. Her scanner picked up an anomalous energy signature, faint but persistent, emanating from deep within the debris field. Most salvagers would have ignored it. The deep zones were notorious for strange readings that led nowhere, but Raven had always trusted her instincts more than conventional wisdom. Warning. Entering Radiation Zone Delta, her ship's computer chimed as she navigated through the twisted metal corridors of ancient wreckage. The Whisper's hull groaned under the strain of maneuvering in such tight spaces, but Raven's hands remained steady on the controls. The source of the signal gradually came into view, a massive vessel unlike anything she'd seen before. Its hull was midnight black, absorbing what little light reached this deep into the expanse. The design was elegant yet predatory, with smooth curves that seemed to defy traditional shipbuilding principles. "Well, that's definitely not corporate alliance architecture," Raven muttered, bringing the Whisper alongside the mysterious ship. Her scans indicated the vessel was nearly 3 kilometers long, dwarfing even the largest Alliance capital ships. Yet somehow it had remained hidden here, untouched by the countless salvagers who frequented these hunting grounds. Raven found a viable airlock and docked her ship, double-checking the seals on her environment suit before crossing over. The ship's internal atmosphere was still intact, though stale after whom knew how many years of abandonment. Her boots echoed against metal decking as she made her way deeper into the vessel, following the energy signature. The corridors were lined with intricate patterns that seemed to shift in her suit lights, leading her toward what she assumed was the bridge. Unlike the chaos of most derelict ships, everything here was pristine, as if the crew had simply vanished one day. When she reached the bridge, the entire chamber hummed to life. Holographic displays materialized around her, showing system status reports in an unfamiliar script. A soft blue light emanated from a central pillar, coalescing into a humanoid form. Identity unknown. State your purpose. The hologram spoke, its voice carrying an otherworldly resonance. Raven kept her hands visible, away from her weapons. "I'm Raven Thorn, independent salvager. I picked up your energy signature and came to investigate." The hologram studied her for a long moment. "I am Oracle, the artificial intelligence of the warship Nemesis. You are the first organic being to step foot on this bridge in 3,742 years. That's a long time to be alone," Raven said carefully. "What happened to your crew?" "They ascended," Oracle replied simply. "The Makers achieved a state beyond physical form, leaving their creations behind. I have maintained watch over the Nemesis, waiting for one worthy to take up the mantle." Raven glanced around the bridge, taking in the advanced technology that surrounded her. "And you think I might be worthy? You found us when others could not. You showed courage in venturing this deep alone. But worthiness must be earned, not assumed. The Nemesis is more than a simple warship. It is a testament to the Maker's vision of justice and protection for all sentient life." Before Raven could respond, proximity alarms blared. Oracle's form flickered as it accessed the ship's sensors. Multiple corporate alliance vessels approaching. They appear to have detected our power signature. "Fantastic," Raven muttered. "Any chance this ship can still fly?" "Primary systems are functional, but require an authorized pilot to activate. The choice is yours, Raven Thorn. Will you take up the responsibility, knowing it cannot be undone?" Through the bridge viewport, Raven could see Alliance ships emerging from the debris field, their weapons charging. They would show no mercy to independent salvagers in their territory. But accepting Oracle's offer would mean painting an even bigger target on her back. The Alliance wouldn't rest until they claimed this technology for themselves. Raven smiled grimly, stepping up to the central control platform. "Well, Oracle, I've never been very good at walking away from a fight. Show me how to wake this sleeping giant." The hologram nodded, and the bridge came fully alive around them. As systems powered up, Raven felt a subtle connection forming with the ship, as if the Nemesis itself was reaching out to her mind. The Alliance ships opened fire, their shots dissipating harmlessly against shields far beyond their understanding. "Welcome aboard, Captain Thorne," Oracle said. "Shall we show them what the Nemesis can do?" The ancient warship's engines ignited for the first time in millennia, and a new chapter in the galaxy's history began to unfold. Bonds of steel. The Nemesis moved through space like a phantom, its advanced stealth systems rendering it nearly invisible to conventional sensors. Raven stood at the helm, still adjusting to the neural interface that connected her consciousness to the ship's systems. Every minute brought new revelations about the vessel's capabilities. "Your adaptation rate exceeds expectations," Oracle observed, its holographic form shimming beside the command chair. "Most organic beings require weeks to achieve basic synchronization." "Let's just say I've had practice learning on the fly," Raven replied, directing the ship through a dense asteroid field. They had been evading corporate Alliance pursuit vessels for the past 3 days, staying one step ahead of the growing fleet hunting them. The bridge displays showed multiple Alliance communications buoys being deployed throughout the sector. They were attempting to create a detection net, making it increasingly difficult for the Nemesis to maintain its stealth advantage. "They're persistent, I'll give them that," Raven muttered, analyzing the patrol patterns. "Oracle, what exactly are we dealing with in terms of firepower, just in case stealth isn't enough?" The AI brought up detailed weapon schematics. The Nemesis carries multiple weapon systems beyond current technological understanding. Primary armaments include quantum phase cannons, dark matter torpedoes, and dimensional shear projectors. However, many systems remain locked pending full pilot synchronization. Raven whistled softly. No wonder the Alliance wants this ship so badly. One vessel with this kind of firepower could change the balance of power in the entire sector, which is precisely why the makers implemented strict control protocols, Oracle replied. "Raw power without wisdom leads only to destruction. Your neural patterns show promise, but full activation requires more than mere technical proficiency." Their conversation was interrupted by proximity alerts. 3 Alliance destroyers had emerged from hyperspace directly ahead, their weapons already charging. Behind them, 4 more ships appeared, cutting off their retreat. "Looks like they figured out how to track us," Raven said, bringing the Nemesis's shields to full power. "Time to see what this ship can really do." The first volley from the Alliance ships impacted the Nemesis's shields, the energy dissipating in brilliant cascades. Raven felt the attacks through the neural link, but there was no damage. The ancient shield technology simply operated on a different level than modern weapons. "Shall I activate defensive countermeasures?" Oracle asked, its tone almost eager. Raven studied the tactical display, noting the positions of the Alliance vessels. "No, these crews are just following orders. Let's show them why picking this fight was a mistake, but without unnecessary casualties." She engaged the quantum phase cannons, targeting the destroyer's weapon systems with surgical precision. The beams passed through their shields as if they didn't exist, leaving the ships disabled but intact. The remaining Alliance vessels launched fighters, filling space with smaller craft. Through the neural link, Raven felt the Nemesis's full combat systems awakening, responding to her growing connection with the ship. Dimensional shear projectors created localized distortions in spacetime, forcing the fighters to break formation or risk being torn apart. "Your concern for enemy crew welfare is noted," Oracle said as they maneuvered through the chaos. "The makers believe that true strength lies in knowing when not to use maximum force." "I wasn't always so considerate," Raven admitted, remembering darker days. "But causing pain doesn't make you powerful. It just makes you part of the problem." The battle ended quickly, leaving the Alliance fleet scattered and humbled. As they prepared to jump to hyperspace, Oracle's hologram turned to face Raven directly. "Your actions have accelerated the synchronization process beyond predicted parameters. Additional systems are now available for activation." Raven felt the neural link deepening, more of the ship's mysteries becoming clear to her. What kind of systems are we talking about? The Nemesis was designed to be more than a weapon, Oracle explained. It carries technologies meant to protect and preserve life. Healing systems, matter replication, even limited temporal manipulation. The makers believed that true peace required both the ability to defend and nurture. Before Raven could respond, long-range sensors detected a massive Alliance fleet assembling near the sector's capital. Leading them was the dreadnought Inevitable, flagship of Admiral Constantine, the Alliance's most decorated commander. "Well," Raven said with a grim smile, "I suppose it was only a matter of time before they sent their best. Oracle, I think it's time we learned more about those preservation systems. Something tells me we're going to need every advantage we can get." The AI's form brightened. "Indeed. The next phase of your training begins now, Captain Thorne. The true test of the Nemesis' power lies not in its weapons, but in how they are wielded." As they plotted their next move, Raven reflected on how quickly her life had changed. A week ago, she had been a simple salvager, scraping by on the edges of civilized space. Now she commanded possibly the most powerful ship in the galaxy. The responsibility was enormous, but for the first time in years, she felt like she was exactly where she needed to be. Trial by fire. Admiral Constantine's hologram towered over the Nemesis's bridge, his weathered face set in stern lines. "Raven Thorne, you're harboring stolen Alliance technology. Surrender now, and I'll ensure you receive a fair trial." Raven leaned back in the command chair, keeping her expression neutral. "Interesting offer, Admiral, but we both know this ship was never Alliance property. The Nemesis predates your civilization by millennia. All technology within Alliance space belongs to the Alliance," Constantine replied. "That's not a law. It's a fact. One my fleet is prepared to demonstrate." The transmission ended, leaving Raven and Oracle contemplating the massive fleet arrayed against them. 50 capital ships formed a sphere around the Nemesis, their weapons primed. Fighter squadrons patrolled the gaps between larger vessels, ensuring no easy escape route. "They've adapted their tactics based on our previous encounters," Oracle observed. "The Admiral's reputation for strategic brilliance appears well earned." Raven nodded, feeling the weight of the moment through her neural link with the ship. "Any suggestions?" "We're good, but those are some ugly odds." "The Nemesis contains systems that remain dormant," Oracle said. "Your synchronization level is now sufficient to access the quantum core, but doing so carries significant risk." "What kind of risk are we talking about?" The AI's hologram flickered momentarily. "Full neural integration could permanently alter your consciousness. The makers designed these systems to operate in harmony with evolved minds. Are you prepared to transcend your current limitations?" Before Raven could answer, the Alliance fleet opened fire. Thousands of energy beams converged on their position, straining even the Nemesis's advanced shields. Through the neural link, Raven felt the impact like physical blows. "No more time to think," she grimaced. "Do it." Deep within the ship, ancient machinery hummed to life. Raven felt her consciousness expanding, merging more deeply with the Nemesis's systems. Her perception shifted, allowing her to see space itself as a fluid medium that could be manipulated and reshaped. "Quantum core online," Oracle announced. "Caution advised. Reality distortion fields detecting." The Alliance fleet's second volley never reached its target. Space itself twisted around the Nemesis, turning their attacks back upon them. Raven moved the ship with impossible grace, sliding between dimensions as naturally as breathing. But Constantine proved why he was the Alliance's finest strategist. His fleet adapted quickly, using the Nemesis reality distortions against it, creating a complex web of gravitational forces that threatened to trap the ancient vessel. "Clever," Raven admitted, feeling sweat bead on her forehead as she fought to maintain control. "But they're not the only ones who can improvise." She activated the dimensional shear projectors, but instead of using them as weapons, she created a cascade of spatial distortions that resonated with the quantum core. The effect rippled outward, temporarily shifting the Nemesis and nearby Alliance ships into a parallel dimension. In this altered space, Raven could see energy patterns flowing through the enemy vessels like glowing rivers. With surgical precision, she used the quantum phase cannons to disrupt their power distribution networks, leaving them dead in space without causing catastrophic damage. A most elegant solution, Oracle commented as they shifted back to normal space. The Makers would approve of victory achieved through precision rather than devastation. But the battle had taken its toll. Raven's neural link was overloading, filling her mind with cascading data streams that threatened to overwhelm her consciousness. Warning signals flared across the bridge as systems began to destabilize. Quantum core containment failing, Oracle reported. Neural synchronization exceeding safe parameters. Raven fought to maintain control, her vision blurring as reality seemed to fragment around her. Through the chaos, she saw Admiral Constantine's flagship moving into position for a killing blow. Oracle, she managed through gritted teeth, initiate emergency protocols. Get us out of here. The AI's voice seemed to come from very far away. Engaging emergency quantum jump. Prepare for temporal displacement. The Nemesis vanished in a flash of impossible light, leaving the Alliance fleet behind. But as they entered quantum space, Raven felt her grip on reality slipping. The neural link was changing her, just as Oracle had warned. Her consciousness expanded beyond human limitations, touching something vast and ancient. In that moment of transformation, she glimpsed the true purpose of the Nemesis, not just a weapon or a ship, but a key to understanding the fundamental nature of existence itself. The Makers hadn't just built a warship, they had created a bridge between organic life and the underlying fabric of the universe. As darkness claimed her, Raven's last thought was a wonder at what she would become when she finally awakened. The trial by fire had forged something new, something that neither she nor the Alliance had ever imagined possible. The price of power. Consciousness returned slowly, like waves lapping at the shores of Raven's mind. She opened her eyes to find herself floating in a vast chamber filled with swirling energy patterns. Her body felt both present and absent, as if she existed in multiple states simultaneously. "Welcome back, Captain Thorne." Oracle's voice resonated through her transformed awareness. "You have been unconscious for 3 standard days. Where are we?" Raven asked, watching quantum particles dance through her fingertips. "The Nemesis has taken refuge in the Void Nexus, a dimensional pocket beyond Alliance scanning capability. More importantly, how do you feel?" Raven considered the question. Her mind felt expanded, able to perceive reality in ways she never imagined possible. Through her enhanced neural link, she could sense every system of the Nemesis as extensions of her own body. But there was something else, a profound understanding that bordered on prescience. "I feel different, like I'm seeing everything through new eyes. The quantum core integration has fundamentally altered your neural architecture," Oracle explained. "You are now something more than human, yet not quite what the Makers became. A bridge between worlds." Before Raven could respond, her enhanced senses detected a disturbance in normal space. The Alliance hadn't been idle during her transformation. They had deployed a new weapon, a massive device that twisted the fabric of reality itself. "They're trying to force us back into normal space," Raven observed, watching the dimensional distortions spread. "Constantine must have adapted some of the technology he observed during our battle." "Correct. The Admiral scientists have created a crude but effective means of manipulating quantum fields. The device poses a significant threat to both the Nemesis and surrounding spacetime." Raven accessed the ship's long-range sensors, her consciousness extending across light years. What she saw troubled her deeply. The Alliance's reality warping device was causing cascading failures in the quantum fabric of space. If left unchecked, entire systems could be torn apart. "They don't understand what they're dealing with," she said, her voice heavy with concern. "This technology wasn't meant to be used by minds unprepared for its implications. We have to stop them before they cause irreparable damage." Agreed. However, direct confrontation may no longer be the optimal solution. Your enhanced capabilities offer alternative approaches. Through their deepened connection, Oracle shared knowledge that the Makers had left behind. Raven saw how reality could be reshaped, how consciousness itself could influence the fundamental forces of the universe. But she also understood the responsibility such power carried. We can't just destroy the device, she realized. That would only convince them to build something worse. We need to show them why this technology requires wisdom to control. The Nemesis emerged from the Void Nexus into normal space, directly in the path of the Alliance fleet. Admiral Constantine's forces immediately moved to surround them, but Raven no longer saw them as enemies. Through her transformed perception, she recognized them as children playing with forces they couldn't comprehend. This ends today, she broadcast across all frequencies, her voice carrying harmonic undertones that resonated with the quantum field itself. Watch carefully, Admiral. Let me show you what you're really dealing with. Raven extended her consciousness through the neural link, embracing the full power of the Nemesis. Space rippled around them as she demonstrated the true nature of quantum manipulation. She created geometric patterns of interlocking dimensions, showing how reality could be reshaped with precision and care rather than brute force. The Alliance's device began to destabilize, its crude mechanisms unable to handle the subtle frequencies she introduced. Instead of destroying it, Raven carefully dismantled its quantum matrix, letting the energy dissipate harmlessly into subspace. Impossible, Constantine's voice crackled through the comms. Our best scientists spent months developing that technology. Technology without understanding is just another form of destruction, Raven replied. The Makers knew this. It's why they left safeguards, why they waited for minds that could grasp the responsibility of wielding such power. Through her enhanced senses, she could feel the Admiral's confusion and fear slowly giving way to comprehension. The display had shaken his certainty in the Alliance's right to control all technology they encountered. But victory had come with a price. Raven felt the strain of maintaining her expanded consciousness, the human part of her mind struggling to contain awareness that stretched beyond normal spacetime. Even with the quantum core's support, there were limits to how far human consciousness could evolve. Oracle, she whispered, feeling reality start to blur around her. I don't think I can hold this form much longer. Your transformation is not yet complete, the AI responded, its presence supporting her failing consciousness. The final phase approaches. The question remains, are you prepared to take the last step, knowing you can never return to what you were? As darkness crept into the edges of her vision, Raven saw visions of possible futures branching out before her. In one path, she remained caught between human and transcendent, slowly burning out as her mind tried to contain powers it was never meant to handle. In another, she completed the transformation, becoming something entirely new. The choice would change not only her fate but the future of human alliance relations and humanity's place in the cosmos. As her consciousness began to fade once more, Raven prepared herself for the most important decision of her existence. Phoenix Rising. Decision crystallized in Raven's mind as reality itself seemed to hold its breath. She had come too far to stop now, and the galaxy needed someone who could bridge the gap between human limitation and cosmic understanding. Through her neural link with the Nemesis, she sent a simple command: begin final integration. Initiating transformation protocols, Oracle responded, its voice resonating through multiple dimensions. Be warned, there will be no return from this path. The quantum core pulsed with blinding energy as Raven's consciousness expanded beyond its previous boundaries. She felt her awareness merge more deeply with the ship's systems, while simultaneously reaching out to touch the underlying fabric of spacetime. The transformation was beautiful and terrifying, like being reborn in the heart of a star. Admiral Constantine and his fleet watched in awe as the Nemesis began to change. The ship's hull shifted and flowed like liquid metal, geometric patterns of light racing across its surface. Reality bent around it as new forms of matter and energy came into being. By all that's sacred, Constantine whispered, what are we witnessing? Through the ship's communications, Raven's voice reached them, now carrying harmonics that seemed to resonate with the structure of reality itself. The next step. Admiral, the path the Makers left for us to find when we were ready. The transformation accelerated, and Raven felt her understanding expanding exponentially. She could see the quantum threads that bound the universe together, the hidden dimensions that lay just beyond normal perception. But most importantly, she could see the path forward. The Alliance fears what it cannot control, she broadcast to the fleet. But true power isn't about control. It's about harmony. Let me show you. Drawing upon her new abilities, Raven created a series of dimensional windows around the fleet. Through them, the Alliance crews could see the intricate dance of cosmic forces that she now perceived. She showed them how the crew attempts to weaponize quantum technology had begun to damage the fabric of space-time, and how the damage could be healed through understanding rather than force. This is why the Makers left the Nemesis, she explained. Not as a weapon to be claimed, but as a teacher for when we were ready to learn. The ship isn't just a vessel. It's a key to understanding our place in the universe. Constantine's flagship moved closer, its weapons powered down. And what happens now? The Admiral asked. Do you expect the Alliance to simply surrender its authority? I expect you to grow, Raven replied. The galaxy is larger and more complex than any one power can control. The Makers knew this. It's why they ascended rather than trying to rule. Through her expanded consciousness, Raven could sense the quantum damage spreading from the Alliance's experiments beginning to heal. But she also sensed other presences stirring in the depths of space, ancient powers awakening in response to humanity's first steps toward a greater understanding. We stand at a crossroads, she continued. The Alliance can continue trying to control forces it doesn't understand, or it can join me in learning to work in harmony with them. The choice is yours, but know that the consequences will affect not just humanity, but all sentient life in the galaxy. For a long moment, silence filled the void. Then Constantine's voice returned, carrying a note of reverence that had replaced his previous authority. What do you propose? A partnership, Raven said. The Nemesis was never meant to be owned or controlled. I am its guardian now, but its knowledge should benefit all who are ready to learn from it. Let me help you understand what I've seen. Let me show you how to walk between the stars without breaking them. The Admiral was quiet for a moment before responding. The Alliance Council will need convincing. Then let's convince them together, Raven replied. The Makers believed that understanding would eventually triumph over fear. Help me prove them right. As she spoke these words, Raven felt her transformation completing. She existed now as something between human and cosmic, able to perceive and interact with multiple layers of reality simultaneously. The Nemesis had become more than a ship. It was an extension of her evolved consciousness, a bridge between what humanity was and what it could become. Oracle's presence merged more fully with her awareness, its ancient wisdom becoming part of her expanded understanding. The cycle begins anew, it observed. As the Makers intended. Raven smiled, watching quantum patterns dance between dimensions. No, old friend. Something new begins, something even the Makers couldn't predict. The Alliance fleet fell into formation around the transformed Nemesis, no longer as captors but as escorts. Together they set course for Alliance space, where the real work of changing hearts and minds would begin. Raven knew the path ahead would not be easy. Change never was. But she had transcended her old limitations without losing her humanity, and that made all the difference. As the ships accelerated into quantum space, Raven felt the future branching out before her like streams of possibility. The galaxy was vast, and there were more secrets waiting to be discovered, more bridges to be built between the known and the unknowable. The Makers had left them a legacy, but what they built with it would be uniquely their own. The forgotten Starship had indeed become the galaxy's most feared weapon, but not through destruction. Instead, it had become something far more powerful, a catalyst for transformation, understanding, and hope.